whispering that she thought the young girl looked familiar. Red presses Janet for information about her mother. Janet's face falls with genuine sadness upon hearing that Scarlett has passed away. As they talk, Red asks a blunt, painful question. Was Janet the one selling her mother the heavy drugs? Janet shamefully admits that she did it once, but only because Scarlett begged her relentlessly. Janet explains that after the infamous accident, Scarlett changed completely, broken by the trauma. Red pushes further, asking if her mom truly lost her arm in that crash. Janet nods, confirming the loss, but adds a chilling detail. The strange thing is, your mom wasn't even driving. Upset and deeply confused by the conflicting stories, Red retreats to the bar's restroom to collect herself. Later, she strikes up a conversation with a group of local guys, including a friendly young man named Ewan. When the group finds out exactly who her grandmother is, they are visibly shocked. The atmosphere grows tense. One of the boys leans in and tells her that the local legend of the wolf is absolutely real, revealing the dark truth that Ewan's own mother was taken by the beast. Red is overwhelmed and utterly confused by this persistent talk of a mythical wolf haunting the woods. Not wanting to return to the oppressive, secretive mansion just yet, she accepts Ewan's offer to hang out with them for the evening. That night, she stays over at Ewan's place. The tension in the town is palpable. Ewan's older brother corners him, aggressively warning him to stay far away from Red. "Are you crazy?" he hisses. "Don't you know her grandmother basically owns this whole town?" The following day, Red is riding her mother's bike back toward the estate when disaster strikes. The tire blows out, leaving her stranded on the desolate road. As she yells in sheer frustration, a sharp, piercing whistle echoes from behind her. She turns to see a strange, unkempt man emerging from the brush. He looks incredibly creepy, and Red is instantly terrified. He smoothly introduces himself as Thomas and casually mentions that he lives deep in the woods. Suddenly, the deafening crack of a gunshot tears through the trees. Thomas's eyes go wide. He urgently tells Red to run before the hunter gets her. Panic taking over, Red sprints after him into the dense forest. But as they run deeper into the unknown, she abruptly stops. She tells Thomas she is terrified to go any further into the dark woods because of the legendary wolf. Fearfully mentioning that her mother lost her arm to the beast, Thomas stops dead in his tracks. He looks at her with a strange, intense gaze and asks, "You're Scarlett's daughter?" Before he can explain further, another loud shot rings out. Thomas sprints off again, and Red, with no other choice, chases right behind him. She follows him through the twisting trees until they stumble into a horrifying hidden clearing. The ground is littered with heavy metal chains and bleached human skulls. They are chained to a thick tree trunk. She finds Charlie, the missing boy whose face was plastered all over the posters in town. Before Red can even process the nightmare, Thomas violently attacks her. The struggle is brief. When she finally regains consciousness, her vision blurs as she sees Thomas standing over her, ready to finish her off. Summoning every ounce of her survival instinct, she manages to slip from his grasp and escapes into the brush. She runs blindly through the woods, her heart pounding, until she violently crashes right into Malcolm. She lets out a blood-curdling scream before her vision fades to black, passing out once again. Red wakes up in a daze, finding herself back in her lavish bedroom at her grandmother's estate. But when she tries the handle, the door is locked from the outside. She is a prisoner. Mari calmly enters the room, carrying a tray of mysterious medicine. Red furiously demands to know what is going on, screaming that she saw the missing boy chained up in the woods. Mari completely ignores her desperate pleas, coldly insisting that she take her medication. Enraged and fighting for her life, Red tries to push past her to get to her grandmother. But Malcolm steps out of the shadows. Together, Malcolm and Mari forcefully hold the screaming girl down and aggressively inject her with a powerful sedative. That night, in a heavily drugged daze, Red is brought downstairs for a formal dinner with her grandmother. The matriarch sits at the head of the long table, staring at Red. She softly tells the girl that her own mother also died when she was young, claiming she deeply understands Red's agonizing pain. She proudly states that as the sole heir, she inherited everything this family built. She reveals a dark piece of family history. Her father had always desperately wanted a son to carry the family name, but he never got the normal boy he hoped for. Then comes the absolute bombshell. The grandmother leans forward, her eyes gleaming with dark intent. "You've met my brother. It's Thomas, the man from the woods?" She coldly explains that the entire town believes Thomas is dead. No one knows he is alive, and they must violently keep it that way to protect the family's twisted legacy. She looks at her horrified granddaughter and chillingly states that when Red is older, she will finally understand what it means to protect your family, even if it comes at the cost of your own dignity. "It's just a matter of taming," she whispers. The next day, Red wakes up to find she can barely move her limbs. The heavy drugs have paralyzed her. Her grandmother, Malcolm, and Mari stand over her bed. The grandmother calmly tells a horrific story from her childhood, recalling how her father used to mercilessly beat a wild horse to tame it, and how he did the exact same brutal thing to her to teach her responsibility and uphold the pristine family name. She turns to Malcolm and coldly instructs him to teach Red a lesson. As Red lies helpless, the grandmother reveals the darkest secret of all. Thomas was a feral child. Ashamed of his wild nature, their father chained him deep in the woods like an animal. He was left out there so long, driven so mad by starvation, that he resorted to eating raw rats. When their mother finally went out to free him, Thomas was so far gone, so entirely consumed by animalistic hunger, that he viewed his own mother as food and brutally ate her alive. Ever since that horrific day, he has lived in the woods completely alone. Thomas is the legendary wolf that everyone fears. The one time a real, actual wolf was spotted in the territory. Thomas slaughtered it with his bare hands, permanently reinforcing the town's terrified belief that a mythical beast lived in the woods. Tears streaming down her face, Red asks her grandmother why she allows a monster to murder innocent people. Her grandmother's face turns to stone. "If you still don't understand, then we'll have to extend your taming period." She coldly instructs her staff not to give Red any dinner that night. After the matriarch leaves, Mari leans in and cruelly whispers to Red, stating she hopes Thomas eats Red's arm, just like he did to her mother. Red breaks down, sobbing uncontrollably, realizing she is hopelessly trapped within this deeply twisted, psychotic family. To secure their control, the grandmother even brings in a corrupt doctor to falsely document that Red is mentally ill and a dangerous addict. Just like her mother, the horrifying truth dawns on Red. They had been intentionally giving her mother those heavy drugs all along to keep her subdued and compliant. And now they are doing the exact same thing to her. Red is a starving prisoner in a gilded cage. Finally, her grandmother takes twisted pity on her and offers her food, but only after forcing her to swallow the heavy sedative medicine that keeps her submissive. But Red is a survivor. She formulates a desperate plan. She begins pretending to swallow the heavy pills, secretly hiding the medication instead. Her mind clears, and her strength slowly returns. One day, she asks Mari the ultimate question. Did Thomas really eat her mother's arm? Mari smirks and says yes. She explains that Scarlet was incredibly stubborn, just like Red, and flatly refused to submit to the family's twisted rules. So, the grandmother sent her into the woods and let Thomas teach her a bloody lesson. The family spun the lie that it was a drunk driving accident. After losing her arm to her own feral uncle, Scarlet spiraled into deep, inescapable addiction and eventually fled. The family had always just assumed Thomas eventually hunted her down and killed her. Hearing the absolute torment her mother endured, Red is overcome with blinding grief and pure rage. When Mari comes into the room to administer the next heavy dose, Red turns the tables. She violently overpowers the maid, forcefully injects Mari with her own potent sedative, snatches her keys, and makes a break for it. Downstairs, the grandmother is in the middle of hosting a strange, bizarre party with Malcolm. She hears the jingling keys and turns, absolutely furious to see Red sprinting out the door.